Now to a News4JAX I-Team report. This video of a Flagler County Sheriff's deputy in medical distress linked to the deputy's handling of the deadly street drug fentanyl is reigniting a passionate debate. We first showed you this video last Friday. The deputy on the ground believed he was overdosing on the drug. Now the I-Team is asking, can someone overdose just by coming in physical contact with a synthetic opioid? The CDC says more than 72,000 Americans died of overdoses involving fentanyl last year. However, many in the medical community and law enforcement are divided over whether first responders are at risk just by being exposed to the drug. News4JAX I-Team investigator Vic Michelucci looks at the data.
I just got really lightheaded.
You did?
Yeah.
This dramatic body camera video shows a Flagler County Sheriff's deputy in distress last Thursday.
Call EMS.
A fellow deputy gives him 2 overdose reversing Narcan treatments.
Breathe in, breathe in, breathe in.
His agency released the video to the public on Friday, noting this happened after he was seizing drugs including fentanyl during a DUI arrest.
My hands are really shaky. It's all right.
Rescuers took him to the hospital where he quickly recovered. He has since returned to work. We've seen this scenario before. This video from December 2022 shows an officer in Tavares, Florida, after she says she was exposed to the powerful narcotic.
Rodney, she's not breathing. Hit her again.
Fellow officers used multiple doses of the Narcan nasal spray. She spoke to our sister station about the scary incident.
I'm very mindful if I don't touch my face, if I have gloves on. But did I wipe my nose with my wrist? Did I use something? I don't know.
This is a problem for people who are using drugs. It's not a problem for bystanders. It's not something that can just get into your system without you knowing it.
Dr. Ryan Marino is an emergency physician, a medical toxicologist, and an addiction specialist with Case Western University. He's also an outspoken critic of law enforcement agencies sharing what he calls false information about the drug and accidental exposure and overdose.
And why does that concern you, that people think that fentanyl is dangerous if they're just nearby it?
Obviously, this is a problem just because it's not true, and people are having severe reactions because of this belief. But I've also seen kind of the downstream effects where this leads to increased stigma, increased biases. And even for people who are experiencing actual overdoses, people are too scared to get near them and will not resuscitate them in time.
And what did you see in this video from the Flagler County Sheriff's Office?
I want to say that I'm not disbelieving the symptoms. I believe that this deputy experienced real symptoms and had a real medical emergency. The symptoms he does report, like his heart racing, feeling very stressed and panicked, feeling tingling and numbness in his arms and legs, those are not consistent with fentanyl.
We took his concerns to the Flagler County Sheriff's Office, and a spokesperson told us this. The substance the deputy was exposed to field tested positive for fentanyl. However, we do not have a full analysis of all possible narcotics he was exposed to during the search. To speculate without having the toxicology and medical report would not be prudent for our agency or anyone to comment.
And so for politicians to be focusing resources on things like first responder exposures and things that are scientifically impossible and have never happened, that is a big problem for me, because this means that Americans are dying instead.
It's important to note that Narcan is not harmful if given to someone who isn't actually overdosing. For perspective, I checked with Jacksonville Fire and Rescue. JFRD crews respond to around 400 overdose calls every month. They give out around that same number of Narcan doses, with an average of 5 firefighters on each call. That's 2,000 potential exposures each month. Captain Eric Proswimmer says he's not aware of any problems where a JFRD rescuer accidentally overdosed. However, the department mandates that they do wear gloves. I'm Vic Michelucci, Channel 4, the local station.